Our group will be present a forensic toxicological case study titled Kim Jong Assassination Case. This case became internationally famous because it involved the use of a highly toxic chemical weapon known as VX nerve agent in a public airport in Malaysia. Our presentation will discuss the background of the case, toxicological analysis, forensic investigation, legal aspects, and lessons learned from this incident. Kim Jong-nam was assassinated on 30 February 2017 at Kuala Lumpur International Airport 2, also known as KLIA 2. During the incident, two women approached him and wiped a toxic substance on his face while he was waiting at the airport. Shortly after the attack, he began experiencing severe symptoms such as dizziness and breathing difficulty. He later collapsed and died while being transported to the hospital. After forensic investigations were conducted, the toxic substance used was identified as VX nerve agent, which is classified as a chemical weapon. Kim Jong-nam was the half-brother of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. He lived mostly outside North Korea and frequently traveled internationally. Because of his family background and political connections, the assassination attracted worldwide media attention and raised international security concerns. The incident not only became a criminal investigation, but also involved diplomatic tensions between Malaysia and North Korea. Here is the timeline of the case. On 30 February 2017, Kim Jong-nam was attacked at KLIA 2. After exposure to the toxic substance, he became critically ill and died shortly after. In the following days, Malaysian authorities arrested several suspects and began forensic investigations. Toxicological analysis conducted by the Chemistry Department Malaysia later confirmed the presence of VX nerve agent. The case then proceeded to court and gained international attention due to the involvement of a banned chemical weapon. This case has several unique features that make it highly important in forensic toxicology. First, it involved the use of VX nerve agent, which is an internationally banned chemical weapon. Second, the assassination happened in a public airport, putting many people at risk of exposure. Third, the case involved suspects from different countries and caused international diplomatic conflict. And the last one is the case highlighted the major role of forensic toxicology and analytical chemistry in identifying toxic substances and supporting criminal investigations. There were several major challenges faced during the investigation. One challenge was identifying the unknown poison quickly because VX is highly toxic and can act rapidly. Another challenge was ensuring the safety of forensic personnel while handling contaminated evidence and specimens. Investigators also had to prevent contamination in a crowded public area such as the airport. Additionally, the case involved diplomatic tensions and international cooperation, which complicated the investigation process.
Now, let's talk about the science behind this attack because what happened inside the victim's body was a terrifying race against time.
Tonight, we are learning more about the chemical agent used in the middle of a busy airport. Authorities now believe the world's deadliest toxin was used to kill Kim Jong-un's half-brother. It happened as passengers were seated and walking nearby. Investigators say this surveillance shows two women using that VX nerve agent, rubbing it.
So, the weapon used was VX, which is a military-grade nerve agent that is so lethal it is classified as a weapon of mass destruction. Here is exactly how it shut a human being down from the inside out. It's a thick, amber liquid that doesn't evaporate. The second it touches his face, his skin, and eyes, it absorbs like a sponge. From there, it hijacks the bloodstream, spreading to his vital organ in a matter of seconds. So, to catch the killer, the forensic team had to prove that the poison was there. They took the blood, the urine, and swabbed directly from the victim's face and eyes. They ran the sample through an advanced scanner called GCMS and LCMS to trace the chemical's unique molecular fingerprint. But the investigators were facing two massive problems. The evidence was vanishing. This VX degrades quickly in the human body, and the clock was ticking, and the proof was literally disappearing by the hour. Secondly, the lab was a hazard one. So one microscopic drop of the remaining sample could kill the entire forensic teams. So scientists had to work in full hazmat suits, knowing one tiny tear in their glove could mean death.
I'm Danialia and I will be presenting on recommendation and final plan on Kim Jong-nam's case. Let's start with how the investigation was actually carried out, because this wasn't a straightforward crime scene at all. The moment the attack was identified, the KLIA-2 terminal area was cordoned off. Then came sample collection. Swabs were taken from Kim Jong-nam's face, eyes, clothing and the surrounding environment. That details matters because VX a contact agent, where it lands tells you a lot about how it was delivered. Step 3 was a full hazmat swab. This wasn't just police, it involved forensic expert, the fire department and the Atomic Energy Licensing Board. That's the scale of what they were dealing with. The airport had to be declared a safe zone before normal operation could resume. From there, all 102 samples were sent to the Department of Chemistry Malaysia for toxicological screening, and the confirmatory analysis, it detected not just VX itself but 3 precursors compound, 4 degradation product and 1 metabolic product. That's incredibly thorough, and it what made the evidence scientifically airtight. Finally, because VX is a chemical weapon under international law, the OPCW, the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, was brought in. This became a case that went beyond Malaysia's borders. Now, here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. How difficult it actually was to collect the evidence. First, KLIA-2 was not decontaminated immediately. Tens of thousands of passengers keep passing through the terminal before any formal swab was done. That's a serious public safety risk and honestly a huge gap in the initial response. Second, and this is quite alarming, one of the female suspects was later confirmed to be sickened by VX herself. She was vomiting after contact with it. That tells you how dangerous the evidence collection environment truly was. Third, VX degrades rapidly when exposed to water and air, so samples had to be collected and preserved extremely fast or they would lose their forensic value entirely. And fourth, every single person collecting samples, whether from victim, the suspect or the environment, had to be in full hazmat PPE, because even tiny invisible amount of VX can be lethal. So how do you make sure evidence collected under those extreme conditions actually holds up in court? That's where chain of custody comes in. The flow here was crime scene, sample collection, labeling and sealing, sent to the chemistry department, presented as court evidence. 5 steps, and every single one of them has to be documented. In this case, all 102 samples were collected from the victim, the accused and the environment. They were received by the chemistry department on the 10th of March 2017. Among the 12 key exhibits were entropine antidote bottles found in Kim Jong-nam's bag, which actually suggests he knew he was a potential target and was carrying a nerve agent antidote. The warning here is simple but critical. Any break in that chain, even a small documentation error, can get the evidence thrown out in court. In a case this complex and politically sensitive, maintaining that integrity was everything.
So now we're moving on to the legal framework applied in this case. The prosecution had to navigate a complex web of both domestic and international law, alongside the defense unit arguments. Domestically, the 2 suspects were charged with murder under Section 302 of the Malaysian Penal Code, a charge which carry a mandatory death penalty if convicted. The foundational cornerstone of the prosecution's entire case rested heavily on the forensic toxicology evidence that conclusively confirmed the presence of BX nerve agent. On the international front, while BX is strictly banned under the Chemical Weapons Convention or CWC, enforcement faced a major roadblock because North Korea is not a signatory to the treaty. This heavily limited international accountability thought Malaysia firmly condemned the illegal use of prohibited chemical weapons on its soil. For the defense strategy, the lawyer argued that the suspects had been duped into believing they were simply participating in a harmless prank for a reality television show, completely unaware that the liquid substance they were handling was actually a deadly chemical weapon. Despite these challenging legal battles, the policy outcome of this incident led to a major institutional milestone for Malaysia. As a direct result of this assassination, the nation established the dedicated CBRNE Chemical, Biological, Radiological, Nuclear and Explosive Police Unit by the end of the 2017, which stands today as a lasting legacy of this tragic event. Based on the critical vulnerabilities exposed during the investigation, some key recommendations have been identified to improve future forensic toxicology and public safety responses. First, we must establish immediate decontamination protocol. Because the delayed decontamination at KLIA-2 exposed thousands of travelers to potential risk, airport must implement rapid, ready-to-go chemical emergency response plan. Second, we recommend the deployment of rapid toxic agent detection devices. Having portable, real-time chemical weapon detector at international airport and border checkpoints is vital for early interception. Our third recommendation focuses on enhanced forensic training. Forensic medical team needs specialized hands-on training to handle weaponized toxins safely, moving far beyond standard chemical or routine poisoning protocol. Fourth, we emphasize the need to strengthen international cooperation. Malaysia's collaboration with the Organisation for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, or OPCW, during this crisis was highly effective and proved that this framework should be made more robust and globally accessible. Fifth, the high-profile nature of this case underscored the importance of strict witness and evidence protection to prevent external interference or intimidation. Finally, our sixth recommendation is for the other nations to establish dedicated CBRNE units. Malaysia's newly created CBRNE units serve as an excellent model for countries worldwide to structure their defense against evolving chemical, biological, and nuclear threats. In conclusion, let's look at the ultimate outcome of the case and the vital lesson it leaves behind for the forensic community. The investigation successfully achieved that the official confirmation of the BX nerve agent, which provide undeniable scientific truth to the global community. Legally, the proceeding led to the eventual release of the suspect, but the geopolitical fallout caused a massive diplomatic crisis, severely straining relations and sparking a major controversy between Malaysia and North Korea regarding embassy involvement. Looking at what this case teaches forensic toxicology, it highlights the absolute importance of rapid toxicological analysis and demonstrates the undeniable power of analytical chemistry in solving complex criminal cases. It also reminds us of the immense challenges involved in the chemical weapon investigation and the vital necessity of the international forensic collaboration. Ultimately, the key takeaways are clear. Chemical agents can and will be used as tools for assassination. Public places remain highly vulnerable target, and robust toxicology evidence is the most critical factor in proving the definitive cause of death. The King Jong Nam Assassination will always stand as a premier example of how forensic toxicology and analytical chemistry serve as the frontline defense in identifying lethal chemical agents, reconstructing intricate crimes, and upholding international justice.